Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review. Today I'm taking a look at the figurized standard avatar FUMINA from Gundam Build Metaverse. So it's coming up to that time of the year when I'm going to be making the best kits of the year. So I'm going through which kits I have and haven't done. I thought I'd done pretty much all of them besides the BB Senshi boxed sets that came out, but somehow there's a couple of that slipped through the cracks, and this is one right here. So let's get it built and reviewed. As usual, this right here was supplied by those awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan, so I will throw a link to it down there in the description. Now let's check it out. Alright, so cracking open the box, it doesn't seem overly large. Oh, this is good. So we do have 3 already fully prepped faces in here. So unlike some of the figure eyes I've taken a look at recently, it doesn't look like I'm going to have to be water slide decaling on the eyes. That is very handy. We've got another bag of runner segments, another bag as well. This actually looks more like a 30-minute Sisters, honestly, than what I would expect from a figurized standard, especially with this particular runner right here. Actually, no, it says figurized standard, but yeah, I guess they're trying to make their girl kits as compatible as possible, which obviously makes a whole lot of sense. A quick look at the manual. We've got a description about the FUMINA itself on one side. Flip it around to the other, we've got some images of what it will look like in action. The usual color palette down there in case you want to mix your paints for painting this kit in its standard color scheme. There is the runners that are included in here. All the general information on putting this together. This genealogy of gunpla cos? Gunpla cos, I suppose it means like costume Gundam heroines, and it's pretty much all the way back to that first freaky Super FUMINA from back in the day. They've gotten a whole lot better since back then, and overall this looks like it puts together in a kind of a combination of 30-minute Sisters and a little bit Gunpla-esque. So yeah, let's get it built. So first up now, jumping on into the legs, I've got one built already. This little section up here is very similar to what you would see on a 30-minute missions, but it is slightly tapered would be the only kind of difference. It kind of tapers up that way. The knee bend is a single joint, so it bends just that amount right there. Ankle joint is usual kind of figurized or figure joint. That's creaky, listen. Really creaky. This little bit right here is kind of attached on, but albeit a little bit poorly. But yeah, let's get one built. So when it comes to the build of the leg, you build the upper leg first. This involves putting a ball joint into this little section right here. A cover section slots down over it. This is a little bit difficult to do, but once it gets in there, it's perfectly fine attachment-wise. And then a navy blue, almost purpley section comes down from above. Next up, we move down to the leg itself. You start with the knee joint, which is made out of 2 pieces. The upper thigh attaches onto that, as well as the lower leg. The ankle joint also is made out of 2 pieces. This is a squeaky, nice, rubbery, strong feeling plastic. The foot is made out of 2 bits. The ankle is made out of 2 bits. The ankle attaches onto the lower leg. The foot attaches onto the lower leg too. And then you pop the thigh on, just like so. And there we go, a pair of legs that didn't take too long at all. Moving on to the body. So now moving on to the torso, and I will mention it does have this little tab section down the side here, which shows you what runners you need for each segment. Now this is pretty much everything, I think, but if you go to something like the leg, then it will show you what you need for that, so your desk doesn't get all that messy. This is really handy, even though there isn't a lot of runners really in here, it helps a lot. As for the build of the torso, you start building up some of the joints that are inside of it. We've got a ball joint here, which seems to be one of the waist aspects of this. 2 sections attach onto the sides. These are the cups the arms will attach into. The front and the back of the torso attach around that, and the next section attaches then in from above. Next up, we've got the chest plate on this. This is made out of 3 parts, well, 5 including the colors. These parts attach in from the side. Then we've got a nice clear translucent section that attaches into the chest, followed by a pink cat section for around the collar. The neck joint in this kit is just like the 30-minute Sisters kit, so that is 2 joints. These attach together, these 2 parts, giving us 2 ball joints and a hinge in the middle. Moving down now to the torso, and we start off with one of the side sections. You attach a joint into the top of that and a joint into the bottom. Both of these are identical joints. The back attaches into those, and it sandwiches together then with a second side section. Finally, you attach a white section in for the front of the stomach, and then 2 pink sections attach on to the sides like so. Down at the very bottom then of the torso, we've got the hip joints. This is a 3-point hip joint, so that's the left hip and the right hip, as well as a ball joint for up top. The armor sections attach in the front and the back like so, and these lock together with side clipping aspects, holding everything together. Then finally it builds up by attaching piece into another piece, into the final piece, just like so. And then this right here is what we get. So might as well throw the legs onto that. They just pop on like, ooh, be gentle, it's a little bit on the delicate side, like that. And then like that. And there we go, that is what we've got so far. So there's a decent amount of articulation on this so far. The knees are a little bit limited. At the body, we've got some rotation with a ball joint down here, and the exact same with this up here. So I guess next up is the arms. Oh man, these just keep on falling off. Next up in here, we've got the arms. These are very simple. You build a shoulder joint, it slots down into the upper arm like so. The elbow joint is a very simple joint as well. It's just this white upper arm section connects into the dark section of the forearm, and that sandwiches together with another bit. Next up, you add a pink ring to the bicep and to the wrist, and then you build a wrist joint, slap that into a hand, and attach it all together, just like so. This then is what you get once it is fully built. There is the bicep joint, we've got a wrist joint too, and an upper arm swivel. Again, these are super simple to build, and they work out perfectly. Attaches on just like so, and so far, so good. So now moving on to the head, and we do have a bunch of choices when it comes to the faces. One of these you have to build ever so slightly because the tongue section has to be stuck into the mouth there. I'm just gonna go with the basic face right here. So they do come with the eyes on the runner, which is very, very handy. It means you don't actually have to be messing around with any decals. All you have to do is chop it out. I'm gonna assume all these places where you actually nip are hidden by hair, so you don't need to be too careful. And the build-up just involves popping the face onto this little section here with the ears on it. I will mention there is two choices for the fringe or the bangs on this. So that is this larger one right here, or this shorter one just like that. That's not laying flat, is it? That one looks kind of funny. Yeah, and they do have associated side parts to go with it. The other ones look like they may be a little bit more classic. So I'm going to go with this longer one right here. It just pops on like so. The side sections attach onto ball joints in there, just like that. That one is the other side. Then we've got the back of the head. Ponytail builds up as a bunch of 3 pieces, just like that. There is a joint you build up. I do build this off camera because it's, well, I don't want to drop it. And when I'm holding it up to the lens of a camera, the chance of it dropping is much higher than if I've got it a little bit closer to the cutting mat down there. Anyway, this just jams into the back of the head, just like that. There is an option of no headgear or this cat ear style one, which just pops onto the top of the head, just like so. Now that we've the head built, let's get it attached onto the body. And that is FUMINA basically finished. All that's left now is the armor. So finally then we get into the building of the equipment, and this is actually quite nice. Unlike the older, more hollow, kind of rattly kits, these are fully formed pieces of armor. So they do have an underside and overside, some good color separation and layering as well. You build up some side skirts and front skirts which attach onto a butt flap. We then build a rack for up on the back, which is again double layered with a dark inner section. Power gym yellow on the outside. We do have some joints attached onto this. Some fuel canister style thrusters as well, which attach on via joints on the bottom end. And then you build up some shoulders just like you would have done with these skirting armors. Again, double layered, looking good. And there are some green stickers in here for the kind of sensor aspects. These then pop up onto the shoulder sections. And finally then you build some gatlings which will go on the back. Once again, multi-layered, nice joints, fully fleshed gunpla parts right here. Lastly then we do have the short beam rifle. It's 2 halves that slot together like so, and we do have a sight then for on the side. But yeah, as for the armor, I was about to attach down right now, but I'll leave that till the actual review. We'll add it on after doing a bit of the aesthetics, which we're going to jump into right now. So now jumping on into the aesthetics, and there is what the figurized standard avatar FUMINA looks like out of the box, just snapped together. Again, no additional effort. Definitely overall a vast improvement compared to what we would have originally seen. These have definitely leveled up with every single release, and now this is more akin to Bandai's 30-minute sisters than what we would have seen with those larger, more hollow kits way back when. Overall color detail and separation wise, it's very, very nice. There's a lot of molded lines in there that sadly I haven't been able to bring out because I didn't get this panel lined, and that does go a little bit for the face too. The eyes on this are very, very nice. It is nice that we do actually have all of this attached. You don't have to do any of the decaling yourself. However, I do feel out of box the mouth is a little bit lost there, like you can't even see it. Again, that's something that would probably need a little bit of a highlight or low light to make that pop a little bit better. Anyway, there's a quick full 360 spin so you can see what it looks like from every angle for yourself. Again, very, very nice. Improvement on what we would have seen before. The overall detail is great. We do have some nice detailing in the chest, being that green, clear section, that little cat piece. And once again, like I mentioned, some of the details on this are present, but a little bit hard to see and do need that little bit of lining to make them pop out. But overall, very nice. As for the details we have in here, the eyes are pretty decent. They have a little bit of a shine to them, which also gives it a little bit of life. We've got the headband up top, some panel lining opportunities right there, as well as the green piece, cat detail. And one thing I will definitely mention is compared to, say, standard Gunpla, this is more likely to knob up because of the amount of kind of knobs and gates on very surface areas. Also, they're in a lot of curves and similar sort of aspects. It's mainly on the hair that seems to be the biggest issues and will require a little bit more cleanup. And finally, as to the size comparison, there it is side by side with some Gunpla that's been a high grade on the left, a master grade on the right. This is 15 centimeters tall, which is just shy of 6 inches. But we've got some armor to add onto this, so on to the accessories. So now jumping into the accessories, and here's the avatar FUMINA with absolutely everything that it comes with. So that is the armor for up on the back as well as the armor for on the waist. We've also got the beam rifle, 2 alternate faces with the one that's attached, that's 3 in total. Alternate hair parts with the one that's attached, that is 2. We've got these ring sections with 3mm pegs. This is for using 30-minute sister stuff. It'll also work with 30-minute missions and 30-minute fantasy. Finally then we do have 4 alternate hands in here, and again included with the 2 that's already attached. That is a grand total of 6. So today I won't be going through absolutely everything in here. I'm just going to throw everything onto this that I'm going to be using to get this shelf ready. So there'll be a couple of things like a head or a hand and the hair that I won't be able to take a look at. So first off in here we've got the waist armor. This seems to attach via a peg in the back right there. Overall, this is very nicely designed and very nicely color separated. Yellow on black with some red detailing and some simple joints that, well, they get the job done. So while I'm getting FUMINA here set up for the armor to be attached on, I will mention one kind of little-ish thing that is sending me a little bit, and that is the ankle armors. As you can see, they're not holding on too well at all. The kind of mechanism to these is the issue. So if we get in real close to this, you can see there's a little bit of an indent in the ankle on that side, a little bit of an indent on the back. And then we have these right here. That's basically all that holds these on. So they then just kind of attach on like that. And they very much just barely hold on. That any bit of movement, especially upwards at the toe, immediately disconnects them. So definitely a little bit on the annoying side. So when it comes to attaching on this rear armor, it just pops into this little 3mm hole around back like so, and then you just tuck it on around a little something like that. The rear armor looks like this right here, so that is the shoulder sections which move like that. We do have stickers in there, I did add those in. The color coming through from underneath is nice. The dual layering does look premium. We do have these thruster fuel canister sections around back. There is 3mm pegs on the side of these. That's not for using with anything in this particular kit, but it is an option if you need to use them. And we've got these gatlings which just move on over the shoulders just like that. Attaching this on is just a peg into a hole, so her standard back does not have the usual Gundam backpack adapter, but this backpack does. So if you do strip off all these parts and keep these gatlings out of the way, you can use this right here with standard Gundam backpacks. But anyway, that right there is what that looks like attached. Next up, the weapon. So the weapon that we get in here is the short beam rifle. We do have a sticker for on that. It is one of those ones that splits, so it lies a little bit on the funny side. It is 2 parts attached together, a third being this section. And we do have expansion slots on the side, which is very 30-minute missions, which are 3mm holes. We do have some holding hands in here, which are very, again, 30-minute sisters-esque. It pops into the hand just like that, so it holds on okay. Swapping the hands is simple enough. You just pop it out like so. The other one just absolutely just pieced out on me, so I guess attaching and reattaching them is extremely simple, so that just pops on in like that. Gonna throw a widespread on there to keep it somewhat dynamic. Yeah, that is a little bit on the loose side. That's not unusual again for these kind of kits. And I'm just going to get her on a stand because it is a little bit on the back heavy side. I think the stand attaches into the butt flap here. If you're curious, what I'm using right here is just Good Smile Company's simple stand, but Bandai's action bases are decent enough. Well, the action base 7 I really do like, but it might be a little bit on the large size for something like this. So finally now changing out the face to one that's a little bit more dramatic, popping off the front section of the hair like so. It's easy to change the face. You just pop it off like this and throw on the other one. This is the one that is made out of 2 parts, which is the face and the tongue section. This one's mouth does pop a little bit more than the standard version, obviously because it is open and color separated, so that works a little bit better, I feel, right out of box. Anyway, finally getting this into a little bit of a pose, and I was going to copy one that was on the box, but it was driving me around the bend and didn't line up quite well with the face, so I went with another one entirely. I will mention the shoulders on this pop quite a bit. The ankle armors will pop very readily too, and the left hand is loose for one reason or another. The head likes to roll off occasionally too, so overall it's not very action figure-esque. A lot of the parts do like to pop quite a bit. If you're very careful, it won't be too much of an issue. They're not going to fall off while not moving it. It won't fall out of a pose or anything like that, but definitely parts like to pop while posing. But when you do get it posed up, it does look really good, and it does have some nice articulation to boot, so let's take a quick look at that. So now onto the articulation. I'm not going to go through everything. We kind of saw most of it anyway in the build of this, so I'm just going to go with the usual pose, starting right now. So anyway, there we go. That is the pose that definitely has dominated this entirely. The only issue is there is no balance, so you will need to stand in order to hold it up, or it will just end up going like that. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and as far as I know, I don't actually rank these girl kits, so I'm not going to do that right now. However, it is a very good kit with a couple of little niggly aspects that really aren't that big of a deal. Aesthetically, it does look really good. Without the armor, it looks nice. When you add the armor on, you get a whole lot more going on with it. The detail on it is very, very nice, especially in the chest, as well as up on the armor. The armor is multi-layered, which does give it a kind of premium sort of feel, and as you can see with all the parts all over it, this is very compatible with 30-minute missions, Gunpla, and other Bandai kits. Speaking of the accessories are nice in here. The armor is pretty cool. The weapon is nice too. You could actually pop this onto a Gundam and it would be right at home. You've got lots of face options, hand options, and hair options. Finally, when it does come to the articulation on this is fantastic, but some aspects do like to pop a little bit, that being the ankle armor, as well as the shoulders, and occasionally the head. If you are careful and you kind of get used to these aspects, it won't be an issue. Again, I'm reaching around the camera, so it does make it a little bit more on the awkward side. Anyway, I got this right here from Hobby Link Japan, so I will throw a link down there in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back again tomorrow for another Gunpla video, and I'll see you then. Once again, I kind of finished this video right here without special thanks to the channel members and the patrons over on Patreon, including Simon Paskin, Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Joe, RG59061, ShadowWolf179, Van Fawn, and Scotty Thomas.